We should know more today about what caused a two-alarm fire at a West Wichita business.
Investigators say it caused about $1 million in damage. KAKE's Jordan Shefty is live at the scene now with the latest on this. Jordan, what do you know?
Mike and Jamel, you can see the burn marks on the door and on the wall of this Hanna Heating and Air warehouse behind me. The fire here started yesterday at about 4 o'clock, and it was put out around 6 p.m. last night, but still 12 hours later, over 12 hours later, fire crews are still here on scene, and they've been here all night long, keeping an eye on the building, making sure that that fire didn't get sparked back up again. The fire was so big last night that traffic was blocked on West Street between Douglas and 2nd for about 3 hours as firefighters battled the blaze. Part of the roof of this building collapsed, and Fire Chief Ron Blackwell said it will be safer for investigators if they wait until daylight. That will also give the air inside the building more time to clear out. Nobody was hurt, but it caused about $1 million in damage. West Street is back up and running this morning, and traffic is moving smoothly, so you don't have to worry about that on your morning commute. I've just been told by fire crews that the investigators will be here momentarily. They'll come in, take a look inside the building, and get an idea of what started this fire here last night. Reporting live in West Wichita, Jordan Shefty, KAKE News.
We are learning more this midday about a two-alarm fire that broke out last night in a West Wichita business. KAKE's Jordan Shefty is on the scene of that fire with the latest. Jordan?
Mike, fire investigators were finishing up here at Hanna Heating and Air at about 8 o'clock this morning. They say that while they can tell where the fire started at, there is too much damage inside the building to determine a specific cause. So now we're left with $1 million worth of damage and no explanation. Yesterday afternoon, flames and smoke greeted firefighters as they reported to a fire at a Hanna Heating and Air warehouse.
They quickly entered where they encountered heavy smoke and flame.
Firefighters say storage filters and cardboard boxes stored inside of the warehouse created the perfect fuel for a fire.
There was a mezzanine where all this material was stored on. It's a all wood construction, so we had a pretty good fuel load back in that area.
At one point, there were about 50 firefighters on the scene, and the blaze took about 2 hours to be put out, but fire crews remained on scene throughout the night.
We had a lot of smoldering material still inside, so we kept crews out here all night to make sure that we didn't have the fire rekindle.
Today, there were hopes that a cause of the fire would be determined, but fire investigators say that because of the large amount of damage, all they can tell is that the fire originated in the northeast corner of the building.
The owner would love to have a cause, but we just can't say exactly what started it.
The findings will now be handed over to Hanna's insurance company, and they can hire their own investigator. I spoke with the owners of the company this morning, and they say that they've received a number of phone calls questioning whether the business is still open. They say that, yes, they are still fully functioning. You can see they're open for business, got a full parking lot here. They say that they have locations in Andover and Newton that are helping to make up for the loss of this warehouse here. Reporting live in West Wichita, Jordan Shefty, KAKE News.
A two-alarm fire caused about $1 million in damage to a West Wichita business. Now, that fire broke out about this time yesterday, could be seen for miles. Well, tonight, the company's owner says the loss could have been worse. KAKE's Jordan Shefty has the story.
Fire investigators finished up here early this morning. They say that while they can tell where the fire started, there is just too much damage inside of the building to determine a specific cause. So now we're left with $1 million worth of damage and no explanation. Carl Hanna was not in Wichita when he received the phone call that one of his buildings was on fire.
Just shocked, kind of couldn't believe what I was hearing.
Hanna rushed back and found drastic changes to what used to be a sheet metal production facility and warehouse.
It's all black and sooty. There's water everywhere. The insulation is burnt from underneath side of the metal, so it's a real mess.
Such a mess that fire inspectors say they can't determine a cause of the blaze.
Due to the amount of damage inside, we can't exactly pinpoint a specific thing to say this is what caused it, so right now it's going to be undetermined.
Even with the fire, the company is still open, and Hanna plans to find a building to rent until his is back up and operating.
We're still in business. all of it can be rebuilt. You know, nobody was hurt. So I think we'll be just fine.
The findings will now be handed over to Hannah's insurance company, who plan to hire their own investigator. The business is still open and operating. They do have different locations in Andover and Newton, who are helping to make up for the loss of this warehouse. Reporting in West Wichita, Jordan Shefty, Cake News.